Hey, my fans, my friends, we're back again. We're back again. The Message Talk Show is broadcasting to you all the way from London. London, and it's good morning if you're in London. It's good afternoon if you're somewhere across the world. If you're in America, if you're in Australia, it's probably good night because of so many hours difference between us. And hey, if you're in Leicester, well, that's a private joke, all right? But good morning as well. Wherever you are today, I'm saying to you, good morning. It's great to be here. You know, when you wake up and you open your eyes, you've got to give thanks for another day. You don't know. You don't know that you were going to get up. There's no guarantee that you were going to wake up this morning. But now that you're here, you've got to do something with the time. You've got to do something with the effort that you have to make to do what you've got to do. You've got to do something, man. You can't sit down and think, you know what? Things are bad, so I can't do anything. So give thanks for another day. So good morning. Today we have an amazing show. We have an amazing show, an amazing guest who's joining us today all the way from across the country. Man, I met this guy 10 years ago, and he inspired me to do something. And we'll talk about that later. But let me go back again to just saying to you, today is a day that you should honor and you should treasure because you are still standing and you are still here. And because you are here, you've got to do something with the time that you have here. And that's why the Message Talk Show is broadcasting. I spoke with someone yesterday that I thought I didn't know. I thought I didn't know. Someone I connected on LinkedIn with, and we had a conversation. Now, I thought I didn't know this person. But when this person spoke, and they spoke about their destiny, and they spoke about losing their job, and opting out and becoming self-employed and working for themselves during this crisis, and it was after about 30 minutes of conversation, and we were talking, and you realize that there's a magic connection between people who are destined, people who are mission-centered and passionate about what they do. There is a divine connection between people. Then I realized that I knew her for about 10 years ago. And she called my name and she said, "Don't you remember me?" And it was only jogging the memory that I did recall. But it was an amazing conversation. And that's why I talk today about passion. Passion brings change in the world. Mission-centered individuals are the ones, entrepreneurs are the ones who are going to bring the change that we're looking for, that we're seeking. So let me bring my guest into the show now. Come on now. Come on into the show, Mr. Andrew Amuwat. Mr. Andrew Amuwat, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing good, thank you. And yourself? How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you feeling? Are you excited today?
Very much, very happy, very excited to be here today.
It's been a long time trying to get you on this show, man. It's been a while. We've talked about this.
It's been a while.
And we almost got to the point where we're thinking, are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? But hey, we've made it today. And you are here today. And because you are here, it's going to be an exciting time. So let me just give a brief introduction before we jump in. So, as I said, welcome to the Message Talk Show, broadcasting from London. We believe that passionate, mission-centered entrepreneurs bring change. So, we like education, we like educators, we like content creators. We work with coaches and speakers to go from unknown to unforgettable. Hey! Unknown to unforgettable. So if you're a small business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, or you just have an idea in your head, man, let's get talking, let's get speaking, let's craft your message, let's connect your message and push it out. And we broadcast on Thursdays, 11 o'clock on a weekly basis. So tune in for the show. Now, if you miss the show, the live recording, you can tune in for the replay. Okay? And you can find the podcast on Spotify, on Stitcher, on Google Play, on iTunes, Apple, yeah? You can find the podcast, the Message Podcast there to listen to the show. So, without further ado, this gentleman here has been a major contributor to where I am today and what I've been thinking of doing. Now, let me say something, Andrew. I came across you 10 years ago. It's about 10 years ago, isn't it?
It is, yes.
It was about 10 years ago that we met, our paths crossed. And Andrew invited me into a training course in South London, teaching me how to structure my website, how to do a bit of web design, and yet there was a bit of coding involved. That this gentleman was working in the inner city of London with young boys, young people who'd been excluded from schools. Nobody wanted them. Nobody wanted them. At that time, he took it upon himself. He rented a building and he started teaching these youngsters coding, web design, to somehow give them a skill to change their life. This gentleman has been giving back for a long time. And Andrew, it's great to have you on the show, man. So just tell us about yourself, Andrew. Who are you?
Thank you, Alex. It's a privilege to be here. Yeah, just in a nutshell. So my name is Andrew Amuwat. I'm a digital media entrepreneur. I've been in IT for over 10 to 12 years now. Started as a web developer, and then moved on to started a digital media business, which I've been running for a while now with my partner. And I think it's just what I've been doing for a long time, and I've just been empowering people to get into the field of IT, to get in the field of digital media, either to learn a skill in that field or to sort of start a career or to start a business in that area. So it's been really my strength and my past and what I've been doing. And it's really been good, and just to see how many people's lives have changed, and you know, people moving on from low income jobs to potentially high income jobs as a result of some of our services that they've been involved in. So it's just really good to see the testimonials of people, how that's changed your life. And I think
Andrew,
that's really impactful.
you were pushing web design and coding long before it became this popular. Long before all these platforms suddenly blew out of the. You were talking about this from a very long time, and you had this vision in your head a long time ago. How did that vision come about?
I think that vision came about when I finished college and then went on to study website design and IT at uni. And then I was given a project to do, and then I just sort of it was quite a difficult project, but I put a team together, did the project together. And at that time, the passion sort of started to grow, and the project was mainly about website design. And then I realized that there was a massive need, a demand in the community for people to want to learn websites design, and also to want to get their website up and running. So I started a little sort of a business in the community, helping people to do that. So I mean, that's where it started from. And I did very much, as you mentioned, you attended one of the sessions many years ago, and we were just busy coding, really, weren't we? But yeah, it's where the passion came from that little project that I was given at college. And sort of just getting people together to do it, and we did it all together, and it was just where it blew out and grew from, really.
Because if I remember clearly, you tried to get even the local government involved in driving this in the heart of the community. How did that pan out?
So what happened was that there was a particular gentleman who was running a social enterprise in the community, and so his organization was like an umbrella body for small charities and small social enterprises and grassroots organizations that were coming up. So he had commissioned me to do a project for him relating to a website, which I did. And he thought, well, this is fantastic. And we work with a lot of organizations and they need support with website. Why don't you just come here? We'll give you an office and then you design websites for all of us. And, you know, Bob's your uncle. And that's how it really started. And then we have started to apply for funding from the central government, from local government, to run website-related projects for people in the community, especially people from within the local, from low-income families, those especially that were unemployed or on state benefits, just to help them to get back into the labor market. So that's how we really started, and we were privileged to have received some fundings to be able to run some projects, and it was really good and life transforming. So that's sort of been the history of how we came about.
But you see, the reason why I'm stressing this is because you thought web design, coding skills were so vital to these young people. You thought that giving them this tool could somehow pull them from where they were heading and change their course of direction. And you've had some testimonials. What were some of the testimonials that you received from the work you've done?
Oh, quite a lot. There's a gentleman who came onto our course from a very sort of low income background, completed the program, and then went on to find work. In fact, this isn't even, it's just basic software testing. It wasn't really heavy coding. There was no coding involved. Went on to find work and is probably now on 45, 50,000 pounds per year, just as a software test engineer from coming on one of our courses. So there's been a lot of testimonials of students that have gone on to university from the community who had never thought that they'll go on to university to study website design or to study IT, that have started from us, from the programs we initiated and they took part in. So there's been a lot of testimonies, and at present we have quite a number of students on our courses that they take. The courses are delivered online and they can take that from the comfort of their own home. And we've seen lives transform. We've seen people's finances transform, people's homes, people's well-being, and as they're aspiring, and it's really good.
Wow. So
yeah,
what are some of the, okay, before I go to the platforms, let me first ask this question then. You're driven, and I'm always trying to get to that point to understand people who are driven and passionate about what they do. How did they get to that point? What got you to that point to drive you so much to immerse yourself in what you do? What was the driver?
I think the drive was I was very fed up and tired with the situation I was in present at the time when I initially started. I was sort of fed up with my finances, fed up with just the lifestyle and not making much progress. And then I determined that I needed a change. I want to see a change. So what I did was I sort of furthered my studies and went into IT and learned coding and started designing websites. And really that's where it started. And then the hard work kicked in. So I was sort of working night and day. I'd sort of most times be sleeping in the office. It's so much work to do. And that's how really it began. And the work ethics was really the drive behind it, because I really wanted to see that change, and I knew it can be done. And I knew IT, it's the way forward. And to be honest with you, I really encourage people to get into IT, because it's just really, really, in terms of the world economy and the direction the world is heading to, IT. It transcends all economy recessions, all economic problems that you can never experience. If you're in IT. When everything else crumbles around you, IT ascends.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. So describe for me some of the courses that you actually do now. Then, what are some of the courses that you do that enable people to develop this skill?
So currently we run a range of different courses. So specifically, we run a course called Business Analyst, which is specifically designed for people who want to start a career as a business analyst. And go on to work as a business analyst. And basically what a business analyst does is they help businesses to move from A to Z, and also to enhance their processes. And the salary potential for business analysts is, you're looking at 45 to about probably potentially 50,000 pounds per year. So it's a very good career field to be in. And also we have another course called the Software Test Analyst, which is with both manual and automation. And that process teaches you how to test websites, applications, and test softwares and test a range of different applications. Because at the moment, all companies have websites. Most companies have mobile apps in all sectors, and they need these applications to be tested. And testers are paid potentially between 250 to about 450 to 500 pounds a day on a contract basis to test application. And if it's permanent work, you're looking at between 35 to about 65,000 pounds per year as a test analyst.
Don't frighten us, man. Don't frighten us with those figures that you're pushing out.
No,
they just come and do your course, and before long they walk into a job for 50 to 60,000. But let's go back to what you talk about business analysts, because in my world, when you talk about business analyst, I'm coming from the accounting type environment and that environment. When you talk about a business analyst coming from a software kind of mentality, you're looking at the processes that the organization have in place that streamlined with the automation of what they deliver with software.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be, for instance, a business might say, okay, we want to set up a website to promote our services or to enhance our services or to move our services from the traditional stockroom shop sale to an online presence. And then a business analyst will be the person to discuss those requirements with the CEOs, the directors, the managers, and convey that into documentation. That documentation, we often call it as functional requirement or functional specification. And in some environment, you call that user stories and things like that. So those documentations are put together by the business analyst, and that documentation is then used by the developers to develop the system, the
Right.
application.
Okay. So the business analyst writes the spec for the organization,
That's
sits
right.
down and does all the interviews with the staff, with the directors to get a clear understanding of what they actually want to do.
Absolutely. And we call that process the requirement gathering process.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And then they put that to the developers.
Yes, and when that's the one that's one once that's approved, that documentation it's then broken down into little sizes that is potentially able the developers can potentially develop at little bite-sized levels, and then the developers will develop all that content or requirement in that documentation, of which the testers will now test the system based on those little bite-sized requirements that the BA has sort of written together and broken it down into little bits and pieces. And then the testers will test it to make sure the application is functioning correctly, it works as expected, and there are no bugs or no issues. So this is how the team, business analysts, developers, and testers work together in a team to develop systems, applications, even in the car industry, in all aspects, in all industries that we're in at the moment, not limited only to IT. The business analysts are required. Even in the housing sector, in the council, they hire a lot of business analysts as well in various different sectors. You have the role of business analysts, and that
So do
role is
you do
so
you
important.
need do you need a certain level of qualification then to be able to do that?
I think you need to have done a business analyst course to understand how the business analyst process works. And generally, these courses are like 3 to 4 months, 5 months course, and then potentially have some work experience within that time as well, and be able to competently do the work and deliver the work as a business analyst, and you'll be able to get it to get a job. I mean, getting a job as a business analyst. I mean, if you go onto Google and search for jobs as BA, you see quite a lot of roles up there.
Yeah, I know,
It's
but
not a problem.
I'm talking in terms of what's required. In terms, can a young person who's never done any kind of work with web design or to do with processes can apply to a program like this and learn and develop the skill sets without having a degree?
Absolutely,
Without having a
absolutely,
degree.
absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely, and a lot of people that work in IT, quite a number of them, well, I'll say a lot, a few people that work in IT don't necessarily have a degree, but they've got a huge load of experience, and they've started off potentially from working as an apprentice, and they've just grown their career. So I mean, in IT, it's all about you being able to deliver and do the job, you know,
True.
and you can't hide from it. It's not a career where you can boast and say you've got degrees and you can't do the job, and then it's going to be evident that whether you can do it. So it's really the reality is actually in the pudding, in what you deliver. So it's not really a matter of having a degree or not. It's just your experience and can you do the job. That's what they're looking for.
Okay. So now we've had COVID-19 and
Yeah,
organizations have had to get themselves online. Individuals, people have had to get themselves working online in some way, shape, or form to give their business and gain visibility. What are some of the platforms that you recommend that people should be working with to get their business online?
I think it depends on the type of business you aim to run. If it's more of like a business that you can deliver online, like courses or sort of coaching or training sessions or whatever, you can. I mean, one thing I would recommend is having a website, and then you've got other um, platforms that you can use. So once you've created your service, you package it very well. You've done it really well in terms of the content, the material. You can deliver it through your website. You could deliver it through Udemy, which is another platform for course delivery as well. You can deliver it through a platform called Teachable. So there are different range of platforms you can use to actually promote your services. So depending on the nature of services you want to deliver. Um,
So do
these
you
are some
have
of the platforms you can use.
do you have to have a website then to be able to deliver something on Udemy and or Teachable? Do you have to have a website?
Not necessarily, but what people do is they want to maximize their profit. So what they do is they'll potentially have a website and deliver that on the website, and also they can then add that onto Udemy, add that onto Teachable, add that onto any sort of course delivery platforms, and sell that as well. So I mean, these are digital products, so it's not like you run out of stock when people order, you know. So you can put them in different platforms and simultaneously earn income from those streams as well. So it's not limited only to your site.
So are these platforms very difficult to learn?
They are quite straightforward. I mean, there are a lot of tutorials online that you can use to learn how to operate these platforms, and there are quite many other platforms out there that you can use. So depending on the nature of services you want to deliver, you know, I recommend using GoToMeeting. I recommend using, of course, Zoom and other platforms you can use to create your content. And it just really depends on the nature of service. And you've got the drop shipping service, which is quite popular now, where people sign up to a site where they could potentially have access to companies within that site that provide drop shipping service. And essentially what that means is they could set up a site, add those services from those companies or products from those companies onto their site, and then promote their site. And when people buy those products, the companies will deliver the products to your customer in your name, on your behalf, and you won't be involved in any stock or inventory aspect of it. And then you get your profit with no hassle at all. So a lot of people are actually doing that at the moment. And there's so many, and of course you've got the YouTube, you've got other, you know, YouTube way of generating income with the incentive and the other commission-based payments, and so many ways to earn income online. I think it's just a matter of really going and do your research and really finding out what works for you best.
I think that's what sometimes causes the problem. There's so many ways to do different things. People do the research and they get lost. They get lost and confused in the array of options that they have. But recently, Facebook has been jumping into the scene now. Not just with Facebook are doing shops, allowing you to be able to create a shop in Facebook, and they've also got now what's it called now, rooms. Zoom has dominated the market now in terms of having meetings, but Facebook are now allowing you to have rooms on Facebook where you can talk to people.
Absolutely, and you've got the Amazon FBA as well, which is very popular, where it's similar to the drop shipping module, where you know, you sign up to Amazon FBA and you look at the product you want to sell, and you get in touch with wholesalers, manufacturers across the country, and you make a deal with them, and they you buy a product from them at wholesale, and they ship it over to one of the Amazon centers, and then you set up your Amazon store and you sell your product, and Amazon delivers the products to your customers in your name, and you know, it's just so fantastic. Well, so many opportunities.
But one of the craziest things I've seen happen is that during this lockdown, I have seen so many Amazon Prime vans in London. Those grey vans delivering everywhere you turn. Right. You see them all delivering. Before, they used to have a lot of self-employed guys who were delivering packets, but now they're taking it on themselves to deliver everything themselves. And I was thinking, that's right. These guys are dominating everywhere you go.
Absolutely.
And so the type of service they're now offering now, you within 2 days of ordering, they guarantee you that you can get the product or whatever you order.
Absolutely, and it's just really fantastic. And they're really developing themselves. I'm sure they'll be investing in robotics as well, and you know, and drones and all sorts of stuff. So it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Pause there on the drone thing, because I was thinking about this the other day. Imagine a drone delivering your parcel and it's dropping in front of your house.
That's right.
Because they've dispatched drones to do that. I think that's scary, man.
That's the future. And they're going to need developers to create those drones. They're going to need testers to test those drones. You know, I mean, it's just never endless, really. It just goes on.
Wow. So while we're losing jobs now in the markets in the standard retail markets, the shops are disappearing because everybody's going online. What you're saying is that from the growth in the automation of delivering of services online, there'll be opportunities for individuals to develop themselves to become testers, drone testers, software testers.
That's right.
That's what you're saying.
I mean, and that is exactly what I'm saying. And that is where the world is heading to now, you know, technology and IT. And there's so much opportunities in those areas, you know, for career-wise. And I think I just really encourage people to really get involved. It's not hard to get into it. Don't be afraid. Don't be worried. Don't think, oh no, I don't need to code.
says the programmer. Don't be afraid.
No. Honestly, I mean, you don't even have to go into programming. I mean, our software testing course itself has nothing to do with programming. The manual testing is just pure manual processes, and it's a repeated process. So, so the aspects of IT that has nothing to do with programming. So if you're afraid of programming, you know, you could potentially explore those areas that, you know, have nothing to do with programming. But really, I really encourage people, because that's really where the world is heading to. And in terms of the recession and in terms of, you know, moving forward, you know, really don't have any idea as to what's really going to happen with the COVID-19 and you know, if there are any further lockdowns coming out again. And, you know, so I think people should think about potentially, you know, adding more skills to their belt, and IT is a possible area, definitely.
So okay, so you may not have a total changeover, but just keep adding skills to your belt now to give you options to do very different things.
Absolutely.
Because Jeff Bezos might come knocking on your door saying, "Look, I've got some work for you."
Yeah, that's right. And you got to be ready. You got to have the skills to do the job, isn't it?
You got to have the skills to be ready. And wow. So let me just go to. We've got some comments coming through. So let me just have a look. All right, we've got. Right, Michael Earl says, "Have a good one." Yes.
Thank you.
We've got a comment here. Oh, Lester says good morning. They're saying good morning to you on the show.
Good morning.
They're saying good morning to you on the show. It's a bit late, but hey, from Leicester.
Good morning, all.
So where people can find you, give us your,
so you can find me at wa-web-designs.com. If you go onto that website, wa-designs.com, you'd be able to see that's the website design arm of our business. And also we have a video editing and production arm of the business as well. We have, in terms of the course delivery, it's wa-courses.com. That's the course delivery arm of our business, where you find all our courses, and you can enroll for the course and gain access to the backend portal to take your to gain access to the learning materials and stuff like that. So we also have web hosting as well, webhost.com. So you can go onto the website as well, and if you need any sort of web hosting service, you could go on there and get purchase a web hosting account and host your website. So, you know, yeah, just give me a shout if you need any support with anything, need any advice. You know,
so Andrew, as far as you're concerned, the future is bright.
The future is bright for those that go into IT.
The future is bright. It's looking bright. Don't worry about losing your job. Don't worry about being made redundant. Don't worry about that. All you've got to do is start thinking about IT.
That's right. And the beautiful thing about IT is that you can work from anywhere in the world, as long as you got your laptop. You know.
Now, and that's a fascination. That is a fascination. That is a fascination.
That is it.
To be able to work from anywhere, just stop anywhere you are in the world and do the work. That is a fascination. Right. But not everybody's got that kind of discipline, though, to work from anywhere, to sit down for hours and do their work. A lot of people think they have to be in a structured environment. But
well, I mean, it's a skill that we need to learn, because I mean, this lockdown that we're recently coming out of now, I mean, it took a lot of people by surprise. It took a lot of companies by surprise, and those that had already been prepared or had some sort of remote working going on prior to the lockdown, they were easily probably able to adapt to the situation at hand. But those that didn't have any sort of work or working from home services in place, I think they struggled more. So I think if you're in IT and you work for a company, you're contracted to work for a company, you wouldn't have any problems working from home, because because you know that that's your daily bread, your money is coming in. You got to take it. You got to take it very seriously, and so you can't just sit down and
you've
and
got
not
to
do
take
anything.
it seriously. You've got to take it
Absolutely.
seriously. You've got to condition
Absolutely.
yourself. You've got to
Absolutely.
program yourself. You've got to
That's
make it
right.
happen. So
That's right.
So
Yeah.
what's your encouragement then to everyone out there now? What's your encouragement? What's your passionate word that you want to say to everybody, every young person out there?
What I would love to say to everyone, both young, old, is that it's never too late to learn a new skill, right? And don't be afraid. Don't let anything deter you from wanting to learn something new. And I think, in addition to the current skills you have, it's always good to learn something new and have more skills under your belt, because you could create more opportunities for you where if things come up, you could say, yes, I've got this skill for that. I can do that as well. If there's a change in economy, the change that demands your service or your skills, you can easily move into that field. So IT is really an area that I really encourage people to focus on, because it's growing and growing and growing. It's getting bigger and bigger, and if the world is heading towards that direction, it's a good idea for people to skill up themselves to head towards that direction as well. So I think that's the main advice I'll give the audience, and hopefully
so
beneficial.
opportunity comes to those who are prepared. Yes,
absolutely. That's right. That's the word.
Opportunity comes to those who are
Those
prepared.
who are prepared. That's right.
And part of the preparation now is to upskill yourself with your IT skills.
That's right.
No matter what age, how old you are, it's not too late to
It's
start
never too
upskilling
late.
your skills with IT, with the technology that's around us.
That's right.
And you don't need a degree to do this. You don't need a degree, because that's the complication. Sometimes you sit back and you think, I want to learn more, but it's above me. It's difficult.
Yeah.
But what you're saying, that's not true.
That's not true. I think what people need to realize is that what people are looking for is the competency and your ability to do the job, right? If you have so many degrees and so many masters and you can't do the job, those degrees are masters are
well. Well, that's true, because if
for display,
if they're not practical, if they're not practical,
that's right.
and that's what's so good about the learning additional IT skills, because they're very practical. So you can learn something today and put it in practice by tomorrow or the same day, or on the jobs.
Absolutely. And you can demonstrate that in interviews. You can demonstrate that at work. It speaks for itself.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. It speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. I mean, what you produce speaks for itself as to whether or not you know your stuff or you've learned it.
So it's time. It's time to explode our business online. Then it's time. We must take the lead. We must take the lead.
We must
push ourselves.
Absolutely.
No matter where we are.
No matter where we are in the world, no excuses. Get onto it. Change your life. Move forward, and you will never regret it. Never ever.
Wow. All right. Before we disappear, let's just get a word from our sponsor at the moment. Before we disappear, if I can find the. Man, everything's got. Where am I going to go? Wow, man. This is sometimes things happen and you think, why is this playing up like this? Why is this playing up like this? But I somehow unable to find. Wow, this is deadly. This is catching me up now. Come on, man. Come on. Where are you? 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 Well, I was just going to go to our sponsor there, but I seem to have a technical difficulty at the moment myself. But hey, Andrew, it's been great having you on the show today.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
I thank you for coming on the show and talking about, exploding your business online, the different platforms that are quite easy to use, and how you can start on these platforms. And even if you don't have a website, which is the most encouraging thing, because sometimes the website hurdle feels such a tall order that people put off doing anything online because they Phil got to fork out this mass amount of money for the website.
Yeah.
But even if you haven't got a website, you can start with those platforms with just your simple ideas to put them out.
That's right.
And start showing
That's
people
right.
what to do, and earn from your knowledge. Yes, that's the
right.
key.
Absolutely.
Earning from your knowledge. I think that's powerful. Right. Earning from your knowledge, and if you can do that to earn from your knowledge, then your world and your future is bright.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you agree that your future is bright?
That's
so
right.
Thank you for coming on the show, man. Thank you for
You're
being
welcome.
here today. And despite the challenges that we faced today, we've had the show.
That's right. We have.
It's not been an easy road, but we've had the show. And I'm saying to you viewers out there, don't be despondent, don't be discouraged by what's happening around us today. Don't be disillusioned. I mean, people are losing their jobs. They're coming back from furlough and they've been told that there's no work for you. So, and you're thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Come on, guys, get on the internet, start searching for courses, start searching for some things to do. There's loads of free courses out there as well. There are free courses to do with the Open University, are helping people again just to reskill themselves and to add further knowledge, understanding, and to equip themselves for the change in the economy. The massive change in the economy that we have seen and we have been experiencing. And I say again, that's been forced upon us. And that's the challenge. You know, because most times you think, change is going to take a long time because as people, we don't like change. But when it's forced upon you, there is no other way to go. No other way. Yeah. And in order to survive, you're going to have to adapt and survive. Adapt and survive. So, Andrew, thank you once again for coming on the show. I look forward to speaking to you again.
Alex.
Folks, thank you for tuning in. The Message Talk Show.
Thank you. Take care.